Hey class, I apologize I can't be here in school today, but I want to make sure to get this lesson down because I don't want to lose too much time for review because this is going to be a big test in terms of how much content we have. So what I'm going to do is do the video of this one and take a lot of homework questions when I come back on Friday. But still, let's start this off. It's going to be kind of the same concept. Oh, and I've also apologized for the bad writing. I'm either using the mouse or I'm using it with my finger on the screen. Let's go to it. So fractional coefficients, same concept as all our other fraction problems. We want to make all the denominators the same because once we make the denominators the same, we could cancel them out. So you look at these numbers, 3, 6, and 2. You're looking for the least common denominator, which means your least common denominator in this case is 6. So your goal is 6. Because your goal is 6, you're going to multiply each one by a fraction that makes the bottom 6. So 2 over 2 for this one. This one's not changing, so I just write it as 1 over 1. And this one's going to be by 3 over 3. So when I multiply 2 over 2, I'm going to distribute. So I'm going to get 2x plus 2 for the first number. Second number does not change, so x minus 1. And then the third number is going to be multiplied by 3, so I got to distribute a 3. 6x plus 3. And that's going to be all over 6 on both sides. And even though because it's all over 6, what's useful about that is because it's all over 6, I could technically multiply both sides by 6 over 1. As long as I do it to the left and right, that's okay. So if I multiply both sides by 6, it gets canceled out. So all I'm left with is the stuff on the top, which is on purpose. We wanted to do it so we get left with the stuff on top. So combine some like terms, 3x, the ones cancel out, equals 6x plus 3. I believe your final answer is going to be x equals -1. So x equals -1 there, pretty straightforward. Make the denominators the same. So for fractional coefficients, basically the denominators are going to be all numbers. While the next lesson, 5.9, which is definitely, I want to be there to teach you, is going to be exponential stuff. So just to know, today will be just numbers on the bottom. Should be, unless there's a problem I mistakenly added. All right, this one. So this one's x plus 8 over 12 is less than x plus 8 over 4. So now we're going to return back to some of our favorite, which is the inequalities, which means we're going to have to both graph and write the inequality as in a number line. So let's first set it up so we have equal on both sides. What we need is a common denominator between 12 and 4. So we're going to times this by 1 over 1. We're going to times this by 3 over 3. So both denominators become 12. So we got x plus 8 is less than 3x plus 8 times 3, which is 24. Okay, when we do an inequality, we want to set it so it's, I would say equal, but less than or greater than 0. We want to have one side 0. So I'm going to distribute the right side. So I got x squared plus 8 less than 3x plus 24. And usually I want my a value, the value in front of my x squared, to be 0 for an easier time. So I'm going to move everything from the right side to the left side. So then I'm going to get x squared minus 3x minus 16, which is still less than 0. The only time we flip the inequality itself is when we multiply or divide by a negative. So the inequality is still less than 0. So we need to factor out things that multiply to -16 that add to -3. Is there even anything like that? 5, 8. Wow, I'm drawing a blank. 8 and 2, no. 4 and 4, no. Yeah, there's nothing that multiplies to that. Give me a second. All right, so it seems like this one, I didn't make it a clean one, so we would be forced to use the quadratic equation. If you remember, the quadratic equation is negative b plus minus the square root, I don't know the right square root, of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. We have to do that, solve that, and use our calculators to actually get the answer. For the sake of speediness, I'll just do it real quick in the calculator behind me. And my answers will be negative 2.77 and 5.77. Okay. So these are my two tick marks. So at the same time, I'm making that number line once again. On the test, I will try to make sure it's actually factorable by hand and not force you a quadratic equation, because that takes a bit too much time. So I'll recheck my test for that reason. So negative 2.77, and then over here is 5.77. So my goal is to test each section A, B, and C. For A, I need something smaller than negative 2.77, so I could plug in a negative 3. For B, I need something between negative 2.77 and 5.0, or 5.77. I'll put 0. And then I need something bigger than 5.77. It could be 6. Remember, the numbers that I choose to test doesn't necessarily cause it to, you can't get it wrong as long as you choose something in the right zone. So you could pick negative 3 or negative 10. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to pick what it looks like the easiest iteration of my equation, which looks like over here. You could plug it into the original. That's totally fine also. So in my first case, negative 3 squared is a positive 9. I should type this. Positive 9. Negative 3 times negative 3 is also a 9. So positive 9. And then minus 16. It's less than 0. So this one is 18 minus 16, which is 2. 2 less than 0. So that's not true. Or false, I guess we could say. Because that's false, we know A is not a value we want. And you could test the other ones, but remember, this is not a double root here. There's no double root at negative 2.77. So you can figure when you plug in the next one, actually zeros real quick, you get 0, 0 equals negative 16. This should be a pass. And since 5.77 is a single root again, you don't need to really think about it. It's going to flip again. So it's going to cross out. So that's going to be failed. If not, you can plug it in to check. So your final answer should be in between. So let me type out the final answer. Your final answer is negative 2.77 is less than X, which is less than 5.77. So it's in between this area, and it's less than and not less than or equal to, because the original is less than. So it's only the two areas. Okay. Next one, same concept. Let's see. Hopefully this one actually factors out cleanly, so I can show you how an example I would actually expect you to do. Again, our goal is to get the denominator same. Since this is a whole number, it's a 1. So here we're going to multiply 3 over 3. Here we're going to multiply by 1. And here we're going to multiply by 12. So for the first one, we're going to do 3x minus 3 times 14, which is 2842. Is greater than or equal to, I'm going to write greater than for now because, oh wait, actually I could underline. There you go. Greater than or equal to 5x minus 3 times 12, which is It's 36. Oh, this is much easier because we don't actually have to deal with the x squared. So you could just literally do it like a normal linear problem. All right, let's get x all on one side. Let's get the other numbers on the other side. So I usually like to move my smaller x. So I'm going to move 3x to the right. And I'm going to move negative 36 to the left. So what I'm going to get is negative 6 is greater than or equal to 2x, which means my final answer is negative 3 is greater than or equal to x. Now here, I don't need to make a number line. Why? Because I only have 1 point, and it already has it written in the way I want. Negative 3 is less than or equal to x. The reason we can't do that in the other one is because you have the x squared and an x, so you can't really get x by itself. So this one's simply your answer. Now I'm going to have to ask somebody to do me a favor. My textbook should be in my classroom. Just take the textbook and take a picture of that and post it in your Google Classroom, or if you want, you just take your own pictures personally. Either way, that's your homework. That's the lesson. I'm going to take a lot of time Friday to go over during homework questions, any of this part, to make sure you guys feel better about it. All right, good luck. Have a wonderful day.